These are the 30 most bizarre celebrity deaths that sound too insane to be real, but every word is true.
Check one, check two.
Check. In 1974, news anchor Christine Chubbuck calmly reported on local crime. Then, mid-broadcast, she pulled a revolver from her purse and shot herself on live television. The station had no delay. Viewers watched in horror. Her final words? Christine Chubbuck, in keeping with Channel 40's policy of bringing you the latest in blood and guts, you're going to see another first. She then shot herself. The footage has never resurfaced. Many refuse to believe it ever happened, but it did. No warnings, no goodbyes, just a sudden death that sent shockwaves through the industry. The son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee, Brandon was filming a scene for The Crow when a prop gun fired a real bullet. He collapsed, and the crew thought it was acting. What they thought was harmless turned into a fatal incident that ended it all. He died hours later from this freak accident. Rumors swirled about a family curse. Even eerier, his father's death was also mysterious, and just as young. Tennessee Williams, the Pulitzer-winning playwright behind A Streetcar Named Desire, died alone, his final moments in a New York hotel room. Official cause? He choked on a plastic bottle cap from his eye drop container, but those close to him called foul play. And to this day, many in the theater world believe the story doesn't add up. No one knew these would be his final moments. The legendary dancer Isadora Duncan loved drama, even in death. In 1927 she met with a deadly accident when she hopped into a convertible in Nice, France. As the car sped off, her long silk scarf tangled in the rear axle. It yanked her from the seat and snapped her neck instantly. Eyewitnesses said she looked peaceful, like she was still mid-performance. She was smiling, waving, and then, her final moments played out. While filming Twilight Zone the movie in 1982, actor Vic Morrow was shooting a Vietnam War scene with two child actors. A pyrotechnic blast caused the helicopter overhead to crash. Its blades decapitated Morrow and one of the children instantly. This fatal incident led to major changes in Hollywood safety laws. Cameras were still rolling when the actor met his shocking end. In 2007, actress Jennifer Strange entered a radio station contest called Hold Your Wee for a Wee. The challenge? Drink as much water as possible without using the bathroom. Hours later, she met a tragic end when she collapsed at home, dead from water intoxication. The DJs were fired, but no one could believe such a silly stunt could be fatal. Final moments number 24 through 19. Actor David Carradine, the kung fu icon, had a shocking end, found in a Bangkok hotel closet, naked, bound, and hanging by a curtain cord. At first it was thought he took his own life. Then speculation swirled about sexual misadventure. Then came rumors of foul play. No one ever found definitive answers. But the truth was likely darker than the headlines ever printed. British actor Gareth Jones suffered a heart attack during a live TV play in 1958. The show, being broadcast without delay, had no way to stop. So the actors improvised, pretending his character had gone missing while his body lay just off camera. Audiences at home didn't realize he had actually died until hours later. No one knew these would be his final moments on stage. Michael Hutchence, the charismatic rock and roll frontman of INXS, was found dead in his Sydney hotel room in 1997, hanging by a leather belt. While it was thought he took his own life, whispers of autoerotic asphyxiation and disputes with his ex swirled. What's certain is this: his death still doesn't sit right with fans or investigators. At just 37, his untimely death shocked the industry. Actor John Eric Hexum was a rising star in Tinseltown, known for his rugged looks. During downtime on a TV set, he jokingly held a prop gun loaded with blanks to his temple and pulled the trigger. The force from the blank, meant to be harmless, fractured his skull and sent bone shards into his brain. He was pronounced brain dead days later. No one could believe such a safe weapon could kill. What began as a dream career came to a shocking end. Once the voice of Disney's Peter Pan, Bobby Driscoll faded into obscurity after being dropped by the studio. In 1968, his body was found in an abandoned building in New York. Cause of death: heart failure from drug abuse. No ID, no one claimed him. He was buried in an unmarked grave. The world didn't even know he'd died, until a year later. A real Hollywood tragedy. Claude François, the French pop icon who inspired my way, died in the most mundane and shocking way possible. While standing in a wet bathtub, he tried to fix a flickering light. One jolt, and he was gone. Just days earlier, he'd filmed a TV special called Goodbye Claude, eerie foreshadowing of the accident to come. Grigory Rasputin, not exactly a Hollywood star, but his myth belongs in film. The Russian mystic was poisoned with cyanide. He survived, shot multiple times. He stood back up, beaten, stabbed, finally drowned. And even then, as the story goes, water was found in his lungs, meaning he was alive until the bitter end. His story sounds like horror fiction, but many believe it to be a true story. A respected actor and politician, Albert Decker was found dead in his bathroom in 1968. He was nude, kneeling, blindfolded, and tied with cords. The room was covered in obscene messages written in lipstick. Though it screamed foul play, police ruled it accidental asphyxiation. His fiancée found him, but no answers ever came. To this day, his mysterious death remains unsolved and suspicious. Tommy Cooper, the British comedian, met an untimely end when he dropped dead from a heart attack live on TV in 1984, mid-performance. But the audience, thinking it was part of his act, roared with laughter. Stagehands drew the curtain as he lay dying. It took several minutes before anyone realized it wasn't a bit. Model and actress Margot Hemingway was found dead from a barbiturate overdose in 1996, just days before the anniversary of her younger sister Margot's untimely death. Some believe it was a tragic echo. Others believe it was intentional. The Hemingway family legacy of darkness continued in eerie sync. Actor Carl Switzer, the beloved child star who played Alfalfa, grew up hard and fast. By his 20s, he was broke and angry. In 1959, he got into an argument over a reward for a missing hunting dog. He ended up shot dead in a stranger's home. The cause? Officially justifiable homicide. A tragic demise for a once beloved actor. David Rappaport, he was a brilliant British actor, known for Time Bandits and The Wizard. But when a major Hollywood role slipped through his fingers due to his depression, David Rappaport couldn't take the rejection. In 1990, he was found in a park, a revolver in his hand. His final note spoke of the pain behind his smile, the one millions had loved on screen. George Reeves, TV's original Superman, was found dead with a bullet to the head in 1959. The verdict? He shot himself. But friends swore he had no reason to die, and the gun had no fingerprints. Some pointed fingers at jealous lovers or mob connections. The Man of Steel became the center of one of Tinseltown's most debated death scenes. And fans still debate his mysterious and tragic end. In 1923, rising silent film star Martha Mansfield was filming The Warrens of Virginia. She just stepped into her car during a break when someone lit a match, and her Civil War-era costume, made of flammable fabric, burst into flames. She died the next day. The scene was never completed. What should have been a legendary career turned into a tragic end. He was the golden boy of Hollywood's golden age, Brandon DeWilde, the wide-eyed child star from Shane, who earned an Oscar nomination at just 11 years old. At just 30, his life took a tragic turn. En route to a stage performance in Denver, his camper van collided head-on with another vehicle. Rumor has it, he swerved to miss a dog. Spalding Gray, the acclaimed monologuist, battled depression for years. In 2004, he boarded the Staten Island ferry and was never seen again. Months later, his body washed up in the East River. His life took a fatal turn, and he died under mysterious circumstances, with many believing something more sinister happened. However, his final writings hinted at visions, voices, and paranoia. She came to Hollywood chasing dreams, but in 1932, after a failed audition, Peg Entwistle climbed up the H of the Hollywoodland sign and jumped to her death. Days later, a letter offering her the lead in a major role arrived in the mail. she never got to read it. What began as a dream career spiraled into a tragic end. Her ghost, they say, still walks the hills. He was British nobility, and the prime suspect in the brutal murder of his children's nanny. John Bingham, 7th Earl of Lucan, vanished without a trace in 1974. His bloodied car was found, his passport, missing. Rumors placed him everywhere from Africa to the Australian outback. Decades passed, no body, no answers, just a fading photograph of a killer who may have gotten away with it. If you enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe, it really helps us out. And for those of you leaving comments, I will reply to every single one. Now on with the list. Hollywood's golden girl Natalie Wood vanished from a yacht in 1981 during a weekend trip with husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. Her body was later found floating off Catalina Island. No one could agree on how she ended up in the water. Bruises, conflicting stories, and missing time still haunt the case. Officially an accident. Unofficially, one of Tinseltown's most suspicious deaths. The silent-era starlet Thelma Todd was found slumped behind the wheel of her car inside a garage in 1935. Cause of death? Carbon monoxide poisoning. But the garage belonged to her ex. She had bruises. Her death came days after she reportedly refused mob-related demands. No charges were filed, and after her shocking end, Hollywood moved on. Too quickly. She wasn't a celebrity when she died, but her death became world famous. In 2013, hotel guests at the Cecil Hotel in LA complained about foul-smelling discolored water. The source? A naked body floating in the rooftop tank. Surveillance showed hotel guest Elisa Lam acting bizarre in the elevator before vanishing. To this day, no one knows how she got onto the locked roof, or why. Theories range from mental illness to murder, even the paranormal. She was a respected journalist, TV star, and the only person to interview Jack Ruby, the man who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. Dorothy Kilgallen was investigating the JFK assassination when she was found dead in bed in 1965, overdosed on pills and alcohol. Her files? Vanished. Her notes? Gone. She told friends she was about to blow the whole thing wide open. Then, silence. When the great Albert Einstein died in 1955, a pathologist removed his brain during the autopsy, without permission. He cut it into hundreds of pieces and stored it in jars for decades, shipping parts to colleagues and keeping others in a beer cooler. Einstein's family didn't know. The brain traveled the country like a ghost, and only years later did the truth come out. A shocking true story. While her story is partly fictionalized, there was a real soprano who vanished under eerie circumstances in 19th century Paris. The inspiration for the Phantom of the Opera may have been Christine Daae, or a singer like her, who disappeared from the opera house catacombs after a final performance. Some say she was taken, others say she never existed. But records hint at a woman, a lover, and a stage that swallowed her whole. The line between myth and truth, blurred forever. Hollywood has always been a place of dreams and nightmares. These stories remind us that behind every spotlight is a shadow, and sometimes the truth is stranger than anything a script could ever imagine.